Ewan, it is an absolute pleasure to talk with you about Obi-Wan. I cannot wait to see what you guys have cooked up.
Oh, great. Nice to speak to you too. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited, man. And I actually, I mean, it's awesome to talk to you about this. So Obi-Wan and Anakin, their relationship, it's being described as a love story, and I think that's a fair way to put it. And it's a tragic love story throughout the prequels, and now it's about to, I think, show us the aftermath of that tragedy. Obi-Wan in this series, I assume, is grieving the loss of Anakin. So I'd love to hear what you think of what would Obi-Wan most want out of that if they come back together. If he saw Anakin again, would he try to reach him? Like, what is that like to explore the aftermath?
Well, yeah, I think at the end of Revenge of the Sith, I think he feels like he's killed his brother. He leaves him lying in the lava field there for dead, I think, and he feels like the guilt of the pain of losing somebody you're so close to, and at the same time the guilt of having not known that it was happening. He didn't see or feel that he was losing Anakin to the dark side before it was too late, and I think he has a great deal of guilt about that and remorse about that. So those are things that he's carrying. He's also living a solitary life. He can't use the Force anymore because I think we can see from the trailer that there are these Inquisitors who are trying to track down and destroy the last of the Jedi. So he has to be very careful not to draw attention to himself by using the Force. At the same time, the last responsibility he has to his old life is looking over Luke Skywalker, who he's left with Owen and Beru at the moisture farm. And so he's doing that from a distance. I think Uncle Owen, it's clear that Uncle Owen and he maybe don't see eye to eye about Luke Skywalker. So he's doing that from a distance, but he's a very different man, and he doesn't feel like the same man anymore than the Obi-Wan from the prequels.
Yeah. Do you think, given everything that happened at the end there of the prequels, Obi-Wan feels a little bit of guilt over cutting off all of Anakin's limbs at that point and leaving him there? Should he have just finished it? Should he have been a little less harsh?
I mean, he should have finished it, but I don't suppose we could have done that, because then there'd be no Darth Vader. So, our hands were tied in that one.
Do you think that if Qui-Gon Jinn had survived, do you think that could have saved Anakin's turn to the dark side?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma, isn't it? Like whether that was always going to happen, or whether if Obi-Wan had tried harder, or if Qui-Gon hadn't died.
Right.
Who knows the answer to that question?
Okay, well, shout out to my friend Kirsten for helping me with those questions. But last thing, I want to hear about getting back into lightsaber fights. You are responsible for the single best lightsaber fights in all of Star Wars. Did you get to top it? Did you get to match it? What was the experience like revisiting, picking up that iconic weapon?
You just have to wait and see, man. I can't. You'll have to see, even if I do. I don't know. I have to use a very uncivilized weapon at the start of the series because I'm a bit rusty. Obi-Wan's not. He's not able to use the Force anymore, so he's totally out of practice. So I don't know. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see.
Oh, I'll wait and see. I'll be watching every single week, man. Thank you so much for the time. Congrats on this series and coming back to it. Hope to talk to you soon. Hi, Moses. I'm Brandon. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Congratulations on being a part of the Star Wars universe. I imagine you are as excited as the rest of us for the world to see it.
I am. It gets crazier and crazier the closer we get.
Oh, so I can't wait to see this first episode. I want to hear what it was like to enter the Star Wars world. Do you remember the moment where it set in? Like, was it a costume, a prop, a set, a character, when you were like, I'm in Star Wars. This is it. This is real.
There were so many moments where I had to check back in with myself while we were filming. But I think those big feelings of, oh my God, this is actually Star Wars has only just now really started as we get out there and promote this thing.
That's cool. I can't wait to see what you're in there. I know you, your character has a relationship with Darth Vader in a sense, from the little bit that we know. I'd love to hear your take on that. And what is it like to be in the space of Darth Vader? So yeah.
Yeah, it's she's a subordinate of Darth Vader, and so she aims to please. You know, she wants to be first out in front. She plays the offense, and you know, Darth Vader is terrifying. You know, the shoulders are so broad and the head is so big on that costume. It's intimidating. It's a little intimidating.
Like, from my understanding, is Reva never really got to choose a path, and I think that we're going to explore like the emotional trauma of Order 66 and Anakin's fall and the deaths of so many Jedis. Your character was once a Jedi. Did you get to examine like the emotional fallout of that and what that meant to Reva and bring that to the screen?
Well, me, for any character I get the privilege of bringing to life, I love to build a rich backstory for myself. And it's just like a nice little like private gem that I get to carry through the whole thing. And so for me, yes, it's hard to say what fans will think, but I hope they enjoy it.
I think we will. Your lightsaber looks pretty dope. It's like got like the thing that goes around and everything. I'd love to hear about the training that went into that the first time you got to hold it and feel like, all right, we're gonna bring this thing into action. What was that experience like?
You know, we trained hard 4 months before we even hit the set, and then the maintenance while we were on set. So for a total of probably about like nine months or so. But you know, on top of that, we did Jedi school. That's where we got all of our lightsaber training, and we would have drills in the morning, me and Ewan together. And it's cool because I get to watch this pro like dust it off and like shine like new, and I'd be just somewhere trying to keep it in my hands, you know. So it takes a lot at first, but once you get it and get confident, you know, you can totally feel it.
That's cool. I can't wait to see it. Well, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations and enjoy the ride. It's going to be a fun few weeks, I hope. So enjoy it.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
So congratulations on Obi-Wan. I cannot wait to see what you've done here. I'm a huge fan of your work. I mean, Fear the Walking Dead, Jessica Jones, Mandalorian. Like, I've seen a lot of what you've done. I'm a huge fan. But you've done Star Wars before with Mando. So I'm real curious, when you come back to Obi-Wan, very different timeline, right? Very different part of the Star Wars canon. I'd love to hear about how that vast canon, how the experience compared. Did you get to take advantage of things? Did you feel like, okay, we have to work within these kind of very defined restrictions and stuff? What was that like?
It was really different. You know, obviously with Mandalorian, we were in a different time period and there was a lot of new characters. There was a lot more freedom, you know, so that was really exciting. But with Obi-Wan, you do definitely have the legacy, and we're between two trilogies, you know, so a lot is defined for us. But I think the exciting thing, though, was that we're telling a story that's a different chapter in their lives, and they're at a different place in their lives. So even though we did have obviously some parameters and we were really trying to respect the canon, we're also telling a new story about where they are at this period.
Yeah. I mean, you bring back iconic characters, Obi-Wan in the title, Darth Vader. Like, what was it like did you feel like you got to kind of put your own unique stamp on bringing these characters to life and helping them exist in a, like, I'd love to hear about what you did that you feel was really kind of your touch to these iconic characters.
Yeah, I mean, I think with both of those characters, you know, we're really looking at like, you know, where are they at this point in their lives, you know, and also for Obi-Wan, like having Ewan McGregor come back, he just brings so much soul. He brings so much depth to the character, and he's at the point in his life that he feels like he's like at the exact right moment to play this character again. So much is there, honestly, with the actor. And then with Vader, and with Hayden, obviously, it's very similar, where you're bringing back people that played this and have lived with these roles for so long. So much is about, you know, having these are our characters, but they're at a different point in their lives. So really, we were just kind of trying to do justice to where are they, and you know, if that character evolved 10 years later, what would it feel like? I've
heard them talk about how it felt like the characters were still there for them, and it was kind of, there were parts that were easy to jump back into. Was there anything like, whether it was a costume or a prop, that actually was literally jumped back into that you reused or changed a bit so that you remember specifically?
You know, we certainly did a good trip to the archives and did look at a lot of this stuff. You know, a lot of the stuff, obviously, just for shooting purposes, we either had to recreate or whatnot. But, you know, there's certainly a lot of stuff that, you know, we went back and looked at the references very closely and worked with a lot of the people that, you know, had been a part of them originally.
Sure. Now, I do have to ask, we know we have Vader in the series with Hayden back in the part. It's so cool. They have had these two characters, Anakin and Obi-Wan, have had awesome adventures in other mediums. Did you get to do anything where you got to work with Hayden as Anakin, maybe in like flashback type stuff, and show them as buddies before, what it became later?
I can't get into spoiler territory. I'm sorry.
Well, totally fair. I had to ask that.
I can't wait. I know. I can't wait till the day I can actually talk about this thing, but yes.
I hope a month and a half from now we get to break it all down.
I know,
and talk about all the exciting stuff. I know how it goes, though. But Obi-Wan left Anakin for dead at one point, right? And I think he most likely sensed that Anakin really died when he became Vader. So I imagine he's dealing with the weight of that, the guilt of that. I'd love to hear about how you kind of examined the emotional response that a decade has passed that it still creates in Obi-Wan that Ewan had to bring to life.
Yeah, I think that's one of the core things we're exploring in the show is, that weight and everything that happened at the end with Order 66 and Anakin. And then also, so many of the Jedi are killed or they're gone. And all of a sudden he's very isolated and he's very alone, left with this one task. That's for us, that's a big part of what we're exploring is, how is he dealing with that and, what to do with all of that.
Did you get to touch on that with like other characters? I like Owen Lars is back, and you're also bringing in new characters like Reva, who sounds like somebody who really gets caught up in all of that, whether she wants to or not. Did you get to examine the fallout of Order 66 or Anakin's fall and how it affected other characters as well?
Yeah, I would say, given where we are in the timeline, so much of what we're doing is connected to the end of Revenge of the Sith, because Order 66 in a lot of ways was the pivotal event where it changed so many of the characters' lives, and it changed the course of the galaxy. So Order 66 is pivotal, plays a very pivotal role in sort of the backstory of kicking off of where we are.
Interesting. Obi-Wan and Anakin and Ewan and Hayden, the videos of them from years ago when they were doing lightsaber training, like that was a movie in itself. That was crazy entertaining. I heard Ewan talking earlier about how he had to do some intense choreography. These two are responsible for what I think is the coolest lightsaber fights ever in Star Wars. Did you get to tap into that? Did you get to kind of and like put your stamp on the action sequences? Is there stuff you're really proud of on the action front with lightsaber battles?
I really love doing the action sequences, and it was really different from Mando because Mando was all shootouts, so we were all blasters. So it was really interesting coming into another Star Wars show, but this time it was more saber based, obviously, and having different weapons like the Inquisitors and whatnot. And I will tell you, it is much easier to spin a lightsaber in animation than it is in live action. So there are challenges sometimes, but it was really interesting, and I think the choreography, we had a great stunt coordinator who was really invested in it. And, we really tried to respect, and we looked back at the fighting styles and how they're trained and everything. But also, you want to do some awesome action. So, we also really wanted to let it fly.
I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited. We touched on briefly earlier how there is a huge canon. There's animation, there's films, there's other mediums where these characters have stories that exist. Did you find yourself talking to Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, George Lucas, anybody, to make sure that you or researching things yourself by watching material to apply it and honor it? Was there anything that you learned on that journey to make sure we want to incorporate this, we want to honor this and reference these things?
When I first started the project, and obviously I'd done quite a lot for Mandalorian, but coming into Kenobi, I did a pretty deep dive and, looked at quite a lot of the stuff in the extended universe and really kind of what I was looking for was like the essence and the character, and like, where is he and what does it feel like? And, Dave and I obviously worked pretty closely on Mandalorian and, we shot right across from them. So, Dave has always been a huge support and resource for me, throughout. And then, also I was fortunate enough to have Doug Chang as a co-production designer who obviously was on the prequels. So that was incredibly helpful to have Doug concept and design the show for us. And then just, there's so many people at Lucasfilm like Pablo Hidalgo and whatnot that are just always there as a support.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait to see what you guys did here. Congratulations, and I hope to talk to you soon.